Welcome into the Resting in Motherhood podcast. How are you today, Mama? How is life going? How are you feeling? I have to be honest that when I sat down to record this episode, I asked myself, as I do every single week, how am I currently finding rest in motherhood? And to be honest with you, I feel like I'm not right now, but I want to be fully transparent. I never want to fake things with you. And I just feel like just accepting the fact and being honest with myself that I'm not currently finding rest in motherhood is restful in itself, right? I will say that I'm not finding rest in motherhood, but I'm still doing all of the practices that really help me find rest in motherhood. So I'm waking up, I'm doing my meditations, I'm going on my walks, I'm eating nutritious foods. So I am doing those things to give me rest, but I feel like right now I am in a season of go, go, go. We had Lila's birthday, then we had friends in town, then Lila started school. I'm also in the middle. If you attended the free masterclass last week, I was in the middle of working on the masterclass, and now I am in the process of launching a new group coaching program, which you are going to learn all about later today. So I have been busy. Capital letters BUSY. So I think I used to kind of like shy away from this busyness and kind of start like, okay, I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to do that. And I do think that there is a beautiful balance of knowing when you are about to burn out and knowing when to kind of push through. For me, launching the masterclass and this new group coaching program, this is a time of growth. This is a time of getting uncomfortable, of expanding resting in motherhood. And so I'm really leaning into that, knowing that, yes, I am working harder right now. Yes, I am doing more. No, I don't have as much free time as I normally do. No, I'm not filling my cup as much as I usually do. But underneath all of that, I still am taking care of myself. And I also know that like once I get this new program up off the ground and launched, I'm going to be able to kind of take a deep breath, reset, recalibrate, and get back to really my restful action items in my day to bring me that rest in motherhood. So just a note that if you are in a busy season of motherhood, it doesn't mean that you can't be doing nourishing things for yourself, which is actually what we're going to be talking all about today. But it does mean that like sometimes that we're going to be maybe finding less rest for a period of time. But I think having these nurturing items within our day that are just a part of our daily routine are so helpful for times when we are busy. Because if I think about if I didn't have my morning meditation, if I didn't have my journaling, if I didn't have my walks, if I didn't have my protein-filled meals, which I didn't for a long time in motherhood, I would be burnout central right now. But I have found these items to be so helpful for me that they have become a regular part of my routine. And I hope that you can find items like that in your day. So this actually leads me perfectly into what we're going to be chatting about today, which is morning habits to set your day up for success. I had a hard time narrowing these down because I think that they're all important. And I also want to say that like the order that I say them in does not mean that like one's more important than the other. And it also doesn't mean that like it needs to happen first. I think that we all need to kind of analyze our lives, analyze our days, and pick and choose what's going to be most nourishing to ourselves, most realistic, and just what's going to work better for us, right? Because we're all living different lives. We all have different morning routines. Hey, some of us might even be like shift workers working at night. So again, these things I listed, I just kind of did a brain dump. I got out like what I wanted to share with you. And so let's jump into morning habits to set yourself up for success during the day. The other thing that I just thought of that I forgot to mention is I understand and recognize that I have moms in this community who just gave birth to their first child. So they have a brand new newborn. And I have moms in this community who have been with me since the start when resting in motherhood used to be lullaby sleep long ago. And so I know that I also have moms who have older little ones, 4 years old, 5 years old, maybe even older. Maybe you have two. I know a lot of my clients now are pregnant with their second. When we worked together years ago, and now they're pregnant with their second. Some have had 2 or 3 babies in the last few years. So So I recognize and understand that we are all at different places. And so I want to remind you that things are going to look different in different periods and different seasons of motherhood. But it doesn't mean that you can't be doing these things. Like specifically in those first, let's say 6 months of your baby's life, when things feel so chaotic and out of control, you can still do these things. It's just going to look different. It's going to require a little bit more creativity on your part. And this is a loving reminder. And I've said this before in the podcast, like when I was talking about me waking up before Lila in the morning. For the longest time, it was not my season to wake up before Lila in the morning. I just would try and she would wake up as soon as I left the bed. So if you're currently in a place where you're like, well, I would love to be able to wake up before my baby so that I could get these things done, we can work together. I can help you get to that point. Or sometimes it really is just a matter of saying, it's not that season yet for me, but it will be. And until that season comes, I'm going to focus on what I can control. And I'm going to rewrite my narrative right now to create routines and structures that really serve me. So what can you do in the morning to set yourself up for success? The first thing that I think is really powerful and easy and can be done with a baby sleeping next to you if you wake up before them, or nursing in the morning when you're nursing, or if you're giving your baby a bottle, or if you're just cuddling in the morning, this could be done any which way, like with a baby or without a child or a baby with you. So 1 to 2 minutes of deep breathing to simply ground yourself. So you're waking up, and I don't know about you, but when I'm in a hard place, I wake up in a bad mood. Like I just wake up and see the world as doom and gloom and everything's hard and woe is me. And so taking those 1 to 2 minutes, literally when you wake up, taking a few deep breaths, breathing in, like think about, I want to breathe in positivity today. I want to breathe in rest. I want to breathe in lightness. And then exhaling any funky negative energy, any tension in your body, just exhaling it. While you're laying there, like I said, this could be done if you bed share and your baby is right next to you, still asleep. Just do that deep breathing. And hey, if they keep sleeping, maybe you do more than 1 to 2 minutes, right? If you have a little one where you are waking up before them, I would encourage you maybe to go a little bit longer. Maybe you do 5 minutes of deep breathing exercises, or maybe you do some meditation, some journaling, some praying, some reading, whatever type of reflection really fills your cup in the morning. Highly recommend doing that. But if you cannot go that far before your little one wakes up, the 1 to 2 minutes of deep breathing is enough. The other thing that is really powerful in the morning is early morning sunshine. And this is more from the perspective of our circadian rhythm. If we expose our eyes to lots of bright, natural sunlight in the morning, it helps our circadian rhythm know, okay, the sun is up, I'm ready to be up. This helps our bodily functions. So eliminating eating, sleep patterns. And also, I just find that there's something so grounding about walking outside in the morning, whether that be if you have grass. Grounding your feet in some grass without shoes on is amazing in the morning. If you have like a patio or a deck, maybe it's just walking and literally like looking up at the sun. Again, this is where you could be doing your 1 to 2 minutes of breathing, where you literally just close your eyes, stand or sit in the sun, take your deep breaths in, take them out, breathe out whatever funky negative energy you don't want. This could be a really fun morning routine with your little one. Even if they're little, it'll become something if you do it every day that as they get older, they will be doing those deep breaths with you. So again, this one is easy. You can do it with a child. You can do it without a child. I wake up about an hour and a half before Lila does. And on days where it's not rainy, we have a patio upstairs by our bedroom. I take my yoga mat, I set it out on the patio in the sun. I put on my Superhuman app. If you've been listening to the podcast, you know how obsessed I am with my Superhuman app right now. And I put on a meditation and I sit in the sun, and it is glorious. Now, again, if you're like, wow, must be nice, I promise you that season is coming. But if you're not currently there, what can you do that's realistic while still filling your cup? Having a morning routine with your little one is also really nourishing and helpful, because the more that you each know what to expect, the easier the day is going to be. And I've done at least one episode on routines, maybe two, but I know for sure I've done one. And you know, if you've listened to it, how powerful routines are. And I think this one kind of overarches, right? Because I think not all of these, but a mix of these things that I'm going to be talking about today should be included in your morning routine. But I'm talking specifically about like a morning routine with your little one. And I've used this example before, but I love it, of like when they wake up, maybe you do a good morning song. The one I always share, which I will not share my singing voice with you because you will stop listening to the podcast. But you just say good morning to you and the sound, like a beat or rhythm of happy birthday to you. That one's easy. Both getting dressed. I think I've talked about this one too. So dressing your little one, dressing yourself, even if it's just putting on a clean pair of sweats, it's nice to just change out of your sleep clothes, kind of restart your day. If you're wanting something more elevated, maybe you're putting on still comfy athleisure, but I really recommend getting dressed in the morning just to kind of like reset. Maybe it's a walking tour around the bedroom with your little one, opening the blinds. Maybe again, it's that getting outside, but I would have just like a simple routine that you do every single morning when your little one wakes up, which is going to help them, but it's also going to help you, because the more we can predict and know what's coming, the calmer and safer we feel. And when we are dealing with crying, if you have a toddler, if we're dealing with meltdowns and big emotions and tantrums, we want our nervous system to be as regulated as it possibly can. All of these things help. Another thing that I really recommend doing, and I will be honest with you, it's funny, as I worked on the masterclass and now as I'm working on this new program, again, that I will share about in a little bit, I'm noticing things that I have kind of like let fall out of my life that I'm like, oh, I should still be doing this. I used to be really good about doing this one, which is setting intentions for your day. Now, yes, I journal, but I feel like since I'm in an easier place in motherhood, I've become very like future oriented. Like, okay, what are my goals for my business? What, like all of those. And I have kind of come out of the present moment. So I'm like setting intentions for further in the future, but setting intentions for your day is amazing. I used to go do this if I could sneak out of bed while Lila was still asleep. This is when when I was still married, so I was able to leave her with her dad. I would sneak out of bed. I would go sit in the sun. I would literally like close my eyes. If you're watching YouTube, you can see it, but like I would close my eyes, let my arms kind of go out and like just look up at the sky, even though my eyes were closed, and like bask in the sun. And then I would set 2 intentions for my day. So maybe it was, I'm going to be present today. Or if I feel anxiety coming, I'm going to recognize it, allow it to be there and not try to control it, and move on with my day, right? Like 2 easy intentions. I'm going to find joy in the little things today. And those intentions are so helpful, because then what I would do is like at lunchtime, check in. How am I doing on my intentions? And then maybe in the afternoon, how am I doing? It's a great way to kind of check in with yourself. And if you've fallen off track, that's okay. This is an invitation to get back to your intention. This one's a big one that I've recently started doing and I really think is powerful, is drink water before you eat breakfast, and definitely before you drink coffee. Drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning helps kickstart your metabolism, it flushes out toxins, and it hydrates your body after sleep, especially if you are a breastfeeding or pumping mom and you were making milk all night long. You should be drinking water like before you even get out of bed, like a nice, I like to say a glass, but like most of us are sleeping with a water bottle next to our bed. So like a few sips of water. Also, this is not medical advice, but one thing that my functional doctor had me start doing is I put Himalayan sea salt in my water. So I just put a pinch every time I make my water bottle. I put a pinch of Himalayan sea salt in there, and that helps with electrolytes. It helps with mineralization. So like I know a lot of people use like the electrolyte packs. I just use Himalayan sea salt. It also helps with hydration, and it has been game changing. Like I have so much more energy. So that's a little hack. And then on the more like woo-woo side, while I'm drinking my morning glass of water, I say my affirmations. So like I'm drinking in that affirmation and really letting it fill me up. So maybe it's, I am abundant, I change lives, like whatever you want your affirmations to be. I find that that's a really grounding practice in the morning to say your affirmations while you're drinking your water, because you can imagine the water like filling you up, and your affirmations are flowing through your body. Next, kind of related to water but different, eat a nutritious and protein-filled breakfast. So a protein-filled breakfast is good for your blood sugar. Protein also helps slow down the absorption of carbohydrates, which prevents rapid spikes and crashes in your blood sugar levels. So this leads to sustained energy throughout the day. I used to not prioritize protein with my meals, especially breakfast. I was more of like a yogurt, oatmeal. Yogurt does have protein, but now I try to aim for 20 plus grams of protein at breakfast. And I have found that my blood sugar doesn't crash, so I don't get that like jittery, anxious feeling during the day anymore. I do feel full longer, so then I don't start like snacking on things that I really don't even want to be snacking on, but I've let myself get too hungry. So that one's big. And honestly, I eat the same breakfast every single morning. I eat 2 eggs, I poach them, 2 poached eggs, 2 pieces of sausage. And each piece of sausage has 6 grams of protein, and then each egg has 6 grams of protein. So I am getting 24 grams of protein with my meal. Easy peasy. I can make it easy. That was funny. Easy peasy. I can make it easy, but it's super easy and quick. So prioritizing protein. And I know this one's also hard. Eat your protein-filled breakfast before you have your caffeine. And I know when you're up all night, that's so hard, but it really makes such a difference when it comes to your nervous system and your blood sugar. If you can get that protein in there first, then your body isn't like high on caffeine before it gets any good nutrients in your body. Because when that happens, then you know that nervousy, jittery feeling I was talking about. That's the worst when you're coming off a rough night of sleep and you have a crying baby or a melting down toddler. So these are simple shifts that don't require a lot of time. All they require is you committing to, I'm going to do this change. And anytime we start a new habit, we might fall off. That's okay. You get back on, right? I think that when we fall off, then we kind of stop doing it. Try to okay, I didn't do it yesterday, but I'm going to get back on it tomorrow. And also, I don't think that you need to be doing all of these things. Like I said, I would pick and choose from this list what's going to feel most natural and nurturing to you and what feels realistic. If you can do all of them, great. Like the water before eating the protein-filled breakfast, like those should be non-negotiables. The caffeine after you eat, those should all be non-negotiables. And then the rest you can kind of pick and choose. I also think that the deep breathing exercises are very easy to incorporate into your day. And I would almost say, I know we're specifically talking about morning habits here, but I would also say that I would be making a point, and maybe this is if you're setting your intentions, maybe you line these up so the deep breathing comes when you're checking in with your intentions. But I would be doing 1 to 2 minutes of deep breathing in the morning, 1 to 2 minutes of deep breathing in the middle morning or afternoon, and then 1 to 2 minutes of deep breathing in the evening, and then 1 to 2 minutes of deep breathing as you're falling asleep, right? Just those resets for your nervous system are huge. Another habit that I think is really helpful is to plan your day lightly. And this is specifically for my anxiety-ridden girlfriends. First, I will say if you are really struggling with anxiety, I highly recommend working with a therapist. But one thing when we have anxiety is we like to know, the predictability. Yes, I've talked about how important predictability and patterns are for our brain. When we have anxiety, and I say we because I do have anxiety, knowing what's coming next is tenfold. We need it so much more. If you follow me on Instagram, if you listen to the podcast, you know that I am a book lover. I love books. I read all the time. I will read the ending of a book. If I start getting too anxious in the middle of the book because of the drama, I will go read the ending to make sure that it's going to be okay. I need to know, right? So planning your day lightly can be really helpful. And I know I talked about morning habits, but what I would actually recommend doing, and I've just started this practice myself and I find it so helpful, is in the evening. And maybe you're doing this while you're rocking your little one to sleep or nursing them to sleep, or maybe you're doing it after they go to bed and you're going to bed yourself. The Superhuman app, and I know I talk about them all the time, but they have a really nice evening reflection meditation that does this. So if you have the app, it's amazing. But you essentially plan out your day the next day. You kind of rehearse it in your mind. So you could say okay, I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to do my 1 to 2 minutes of breathing. Then I'm going to snuggle my little one when they wake up or nurse them or whatever you do. Then we're going to do our morning routine. And then we're going to get outside and get some sunshine. I'm going to drink my water, then I'm going to make our breakfast, and then I'll have my coffee. Plan it out, because when you plan it out and you rehearse it, it makes it easier the next day because you're already expecting it. Now, don't worry about the times and don't worry about if you don't get something done, but just planning it out in your head. Or if you're really anxious, and I used to have to do this for a while, write it down. Or if you have a partner, a loving, supportive partner, you could tell them, hey, I just want to talk about my day tomorrow. It's going to help me process it. You don't need to say anything. This is just purely for me to process tomorrow and lightly plan the day. And then you walk through what's going to happen. And then we're going to do nap. And then I want to go on a walk, right? Just lightly plan it out. And again, if it doesn't happen, that's okay. When you kind of take those anticipatory steps, thinking about what's coming, you're going to feel more relaxed and at ease because you know what to expect. And be kind to yourself again. If everything doesn't get done that you planned, that's okay. Affirmations are another big one. And again, I wouldn't say this is just for the morning. I would say this is for all day. I would have a few written down or on your phone screen. So your lock screen that you come back to when you need them, right? So I am a good mom. I am my child's safe space. My best is going to look different on different days, and that's okay. I'm trying to think of some, a big one I used for Lila when she's having a meltdown. I use it for myself, but her emergency is not my emergency, meaning that I can stay calm and regulated while she's working through her emotions so that I can be there for her. Any affirmation that really helps you and grounds you and resets you, have those on deck. Maybe you're putting them on your mirror. Maybe, like I said, I think the most realistic just in our technology-driven world is to have them on your phone. Look at it so you can I don't even know, maybe you just write it in your notes section of your phone, screenshot it, and then set that as your background of your phone. Something to just come back to when you're having a hard moment to say those affirmations. Lastly, make the bed. And I don't know how many people don't make the bed, but I will say that before I was married, I never made the bed. I was like, why am I going to make the bed when I'm going to get into it tonight? And then I married a man who was obsessed with making the bed. And then I started realizing how nice it is to get into a bed that is made, the crisp, cool sheets, especially in the summer, when the air's been going and you get into your crisp, cool sheets. The best. So make the bed in the morning. It doesn't have to be right when you wake up. Actually, our morning routine is we wake up. Well, I wake up before Lila. I do my meditation, my journaling, my reading. Sometimes I do some light stretching. And that just reminded me that I need to talk about that one, but I'll talk about that in a second. Then Lila wakes up, we snuggle in bed, we go downstairs, we eat breakfast, we read books after breakfast, and then I go into the room and I make the bed. And I do that just because I don't like to rush around in the morning. I like our morning to feel very easy and slow. Also, I like to let the sheets breathe. So yes, I clean our sheets, but I think after each night of sleep, if you leave the comforter down, you can let your sheets breathe just to kind of let some fresh air in there after you've been sleeping on them all night. So my point is, you don't have to make the bed as soon as you wake up, but I do think that there's something really grounding about making the bed. That way, if you walk into your bedroom in the middle of the day, your bed is made. It's one more piece of organization to your day instead of walking into a bedroom where the bed isn't made and then your day feels even more chaotic. Little things like that help a lot. And then also there's just something so nice about getting into made bed at the end of the day. And no, this is no shame to people who aren't making their bed because like I said, I didn't. And I was also really lucky that when I was married, after Lila was born, he made the bed every single morning. But then after we got divorced, I knew how much I liked a made bed. So yes, I started making it every morning after our morning routine. And lastly, in terms of habits and routines to set yourself up for success, light stretching or light movement in the morning, whatever that looks like for you. Yes, I would love for you, if you could, to get out on a morning walk, after breakfast, something like that. But even if it's just sitting on the floor after you and your little one have eaten breakfast, this is a great time. If they're doing tummy time or playing on the floor next to you, doing a quick little flow of stretching. So if you do yoga, maybe that's down dog, up dog, maybe a sun salutation, right? Just kind of getting the blood flowing and moving is so helpful. I also want to state here that if you work like out of the house, or if you work in the house, but you have to start by a certain time, I think you can still fit a lot of these in. It's just going to look different. You're going to have to get creative of like, what's my biggest priority? And maybe you kind of flip flop. Like maybe you're like, I don't have time to set intentions. I would say like the intention setting thing is easy because you could literally do it like while you're making your coffee or while you're making your breakfast. You could also do the deep breathing while you're making your coffee or while you're making your breakfast. You can do your affirmations while you're getting ready in the morning, putting your makeup on, right? These are quick, easy things that you really can fit into your life, no matter what your routine or schedule looks like. And I think that one of the biggest things that I want you to walk away from today's episode with is we often make excuses for ourselves. And I say this in the most loving way because I used to do it too. And I still do it sometimes, where it's like, I don't have time to do that. I'm so busy taking care of my baby. I get it, but make the time. Because when you're really saying like, I don't have time to do 1 to 2 minutes of deep breathing in the morning, you're really saying that's not important to me, but I want you to be important to you. And maybe you don't like the deep breathing. Okay, fine. Don't do the deep breathing, but pick a few things from what I talked about today and commit to doing them, because they're not taking a ton of time out of your day. They're not like these big things that require you to get childcare. They're easy, simple things that could really transform how you move through your days and how you feel in motherhood. Which leads me perfectly into what I'm so excited to chat with you about. If you're still kind of feeling like, I don't know how to do this, or okay, but I'm doing those and I'm still feeling really flustered or chaotic in motherhood, I am launching the Thriving Moms Club, which is an 8-week intimate group coaching program that is going to transform your life in motherhood. This program is for the moms who are ready to find joy in the day-to-day of motherhood, even amidst the struggles of parenting. The moms that are ready to boldly step into their confident mom era, feeling fully confident in the choices they're making and who they are in motherhood. And the moms who are ready to ditch the guilt and actually start taking care of themselves. And I will add there, ditch the guilt and excuses, because again, lovingly, as a mentor, as a coach, I'm going to call you out and say, hey, and I will say some things like we don't have time for, like you probably don't have time. I think we could find a way to make the time, but like, I'm not asking you to go get a 90-minute massage once a week, right? I mean, that's a great bonus, but I'm asking you to do practical little things that are going to impact your life. And it's also for the moms who feel alone in their motherhood journey and want a true village of women who understand what they're really going through. This program is for you if your days as a mom feel chaotic, exhausting, and stressful. You're parenting against the grain, but you're having a hard time ditching the noise and following your own intuition. And you know deep down that there has to be a better way to do motherhood. Maybe you're listening to this podcast episode and you're like, wow, like, how is she doing those things? How can I make the time? This program is your how-to. It's going to help you embody and live and do it. After our 8 weeks together, you will know exactly how to balance you time while also deepening your connection with your little one and prioritizing your one-on-one time with them. You will be the most confident and empowered version of yourself that you've ever met. Your days as a mom are going to feel joyful, peaceful, and yes, even easy. Even on the days with 10 meltdowns, right? Because you're going to have the structures and the routines and the practices in place to help you through those days. You'll walk away from this group with a group of true mama BFFs and a village to support you moving forward. So what does this program look like? So as I said, it's an 8-week group coaching program where you will get 8 weekly lessons sent to you at the beginning of each week, guiding you through the exact shifts and actions you need to make to start thriving in motherhood. Then we're going deeper later on in the week, and you're getting 8 weekly group coaching calls where you can ask questions, work through challenges, and work through those challenges with the support from myself to guide and mentor you, but also the other moms who truly get it. And those group coaching calls are going to help you build lasting relationships that extend beyond the program. And I think that those group coaching calls are really going, like, those are the chef's kiss. Like, those are what's really making this program amazing, because you're going to be with 14 other moms. I'm only allowing 15 moms into this group. So you're going to be with 14 other moms plus myself. So that's 16 of us total. and talking through, this is what's coming up for me. These are my challenges. And then it's going to be a lot of, oh my gosh, me too. This is what's helped me, right? It's going to create that sisterhood and that support, that warm hug that we all need in motherhood. On top of that, you're going to be getting weekly journal prompts sent to you, as well as homework or action items that are going to help you start embodying the changes that we discuss in each week's lesson. And lastly, you're going to get access to a private group chat with myself and the other 14 members of the Thriving Moms Club so that you can check in daily for accountability, share struggles, and uplift and empower each other. And again, build those lifelong friendships with women who are parenting similar to you, who are going through similar things, and are really there to support and empathize with you. So if you would like to be part of the Thriving Moms Club, please come join me. I would love to have you. I will have the link to the program below in the show notes, and you can get $300 off of the Thriving Moms Club now through Sunday, September 8th at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. After that time, the price will be going up to the full price. So you have a week, a little less than a week. You have about 5 days to get those $300 off and join the Thriving Moms Club and transform your life and your little one's life. You're going to show up as the mom that you deserve to be and that your little one deserves to have. So let's start thriving in motherhood. I look forward to seeing you in the program, and I will see you next week on the podcast. I'm wishing you a beautiful day, and I'm sending you lots of love.